The leader of the free world pushed back against isolationism, instead pleading for global cooperation to help the international pandemic of refugees. Take a listen to what he had to say.
Extremism will continue to be exported overseas. And the world is too small for us to simply be able to build a wall and prevent it from affecting our own societies. And together, now, we have to open our hearts and do more to help refugees who are desperate for a home.
Also today, Democratic billionaire George Soros announcing a $500 million investment to, quote, specifically address the needs of migrants, refugees, and host communities. Is this the answer to Obama's call to action? Here to help break it all down, Arash Ari Aramesh and Naveed Jamali. Arash, let me start with you. Just a whole lot of things here. First of all, news coming out, the FBI increasing the charges against a terrorist suspect, weapon of mass destruction. Does this change, how dramatically does this change things?
Well, they're bringing charges against him now, which is the right thing to do. He hasn't started cooperating. As far as I heard last time, his Miranda rights were not read to him, so it is not quite sure in what stage of custody he is in, but at any point there's going to be federal charges filed against him. I'm not sure if they're going to file any state claims or state sort of criminal charges against him, but he did actually get involved in a gun battle with federal and state officials and local officials. So we'll see how that sort of the legal battle and the legal process will work itself out. But in terms of refugees and immigrants, just want to mention the very city you're sitting in right now, more than half of its small businesses are owned by immigrants. Immigrants have made the American experience and the American journey not just unique, but remarkable. And to mention that George Soros is actually contributing $500 million to help this plight of refugees, I applaud that. At least somebody is doing something in the private sector.
So, Arash, what do you say then? Arash, what do you say then to Americans who are very concerned that these major terrorist incidents that have happened in this country have either been refugees or the children of refugees? Do they have a right to be concerned and to demanding a much tougher vetting or even putting the refugee program on hold?
Okay, you're confusing refugees with immigrants. Name one refugee or child of a refugee who actually carried out a terrorist attack. Not a single one. There were immigrants or children of immigrants and people who were born here.
The countries of origin, the countries of origin are all questionable, have all been infiltrated by terrorist groups.
So that doesn't make them refugees. Well, Trump's wife is from Slovenia, a place in the Balkans that went through genocide. Is she a refugee?
We're not talking about. We're talking about modern day history, though. That's what I want to kind of focus on here.
20 years ago.
Do you care about the American public who may be afraid or concerned enough to say, let's put this on pause?
Absolutely. What I don't care about is fear-mongering and people like Donald Trump and his son who appeal to the worst of us. They compare refugees and women and children to a box of Skittles. I agree. It was
inartful, but I think he was trying to make a mathematical equation there. But let me ask you, Naveed, on this same thing, Naveed, does the American public have a right to be concerned enough to say, hey, we are not sure about people who are coming into this country right now?
They clearly have a right to be concerned. Let me just also say myself, look, my dad was born in Pakistan. He's an American citizen. I was born in the United States. I spent 4 years working for the FBI against the Russians as a double agent, and half a dozen years proudly serving our country's Navy, where I serve today as an intelligence officer. To sort of put everyone into one basket, a basket of Skittles or a basket of deplorables is just as unfair and un-American. So let me just say that it's important to remember that. Now, the larger question, though, Charles, which I think is what you're hitting on, which is something is clearly broken here. We have a nexus of terrorism from Boston to San Bernardino to Fort Hood to New York, New Jersey to Orlando. And look, we're seeing this time and time again, and this is not a knock on the FBI. I have great respect for them. But there is something going on here.
There's clearly something wrong. And I think the American public will love to put everything on pause until we can kind of figure it out. Gentlemen, thank you both very much. All right.